Good evening. My name is George Russell. I'm the District 3 City Councilor, and I'm the Chairman of the Public Works Committee this evening, the subcommittee of the City Council. I'm joined by my colleague to my left, Councilor Candy Merrill Carlson. To my far right, the other committee member, Councilor Matt Wally. We're also joined by the Assistant City Clerk, who is behind me, and Russ Adams and Commissioner Fink from the DPW. We have an agenda that we're going to roughly follow, but I'm going to take a couple of things out of order. First of all, Mr. Clerk, could you read the item 1A?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Absolutely. So this pertains to virtual attendee call-in information. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, and in order to ensure active public engagement, the City of Worcester currently allows for both in-person and remote participation at all City Council and Standing Committee meetings. To partake in the meeting, you may join us directly within the Esther Howland Chamber, follow the below link and join via the WebEx application, or dial the direct line as indicated. If you'd like to raise your hand when in the meeting as a call-in user, you may dial *3. The phone number to join is 415-655-0001, and the access code for this meeting is 2309-545-7033. There is also a link that's posted on the City of Worcester's website page if you would like to join via the application on your laptop or smart device. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Clerk, do we have anyone on the line? Have you identified them on what item they're calling in on, so that when we come to each item on the agenda, you'll be able to call them? Or should we try and take them as a group first, just at the beginning of the meeting?
Mr. Chairman, my recommendation would be to take them collectively as a group at the beginning. I can kind of identify some of the folks that use the application because their names show, but the call-in users do not have names showing.
How many do we have, Mr. Clerk?
Mr. Chairman, we have about 8 of them.
8 of them, okay. Why don't we have you call on them then, and we'll just hear them in general, and then we'll deal with their item later on.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the first person I'm able to identify is a Joanne Gray. I'll unmute Joanne now. If you could all, and just for future reference for all call-in users, if you could state your name, city or town of residence, and the item that you're speaking on, and then you can immediately begin your testimony following that. Joanne, you've been unmuted now.
Hi, yes, I'm Joanne Gray. I live at 25 Cascade Road here in Worcester, Massachusetts, and I'm calling to request an abatement of street assessment number 25772.
That's item 4I.
Okay. And I submitted 3 pictures of my home. Is that what you want me to go into the detail now, or is that for later?
Ms. Gray, you can make your testimony now at this time.
Okay, yes, I submitted 3 pictures, and I hope that you can view them. The first is a view of my home on Cascade Road, which abuts Newburn Road, where the work was done. And as you can see from that picture, my access is on Cascade Road. My driveway is on Cascade Road. So I don't use Newburn Road for entering or leaving the street. And the other pictures I provided were of Newburn Road and where my property abuts Newburn Road and the work that they did there.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
So the next person I can identify, it looks like, let's see, Jorge and Gloria Mendoza. I just unmuted them now.
And Mr. Clerk, let's remind everyone when they call in that try to limit their comments to 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Absolutely. So that goes to all call-in users. If you can please limit to 2 minutes whenever you speak. Thank you.
Hi, this is George and Gloria Mendoza, 2 Crowninshield Road in Worcester. We are here tonight to petition for a guardrail at 2 Crowninshield Road. This is item number 7 on your agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Mendoza. Would you like to provide any additional testimony?
So yeah, we provided pictures, but we have neighbors to the front of us and to the back of us that have guardrails. We have plenty of cars that are speeding and crashing into our fence, causing a number of accidents that required police assistance. We're sick and tired of repairing our fence and and the accidents have come very close to our house, almost damaging the house. And we're just concerned that maybe the next time we won't be so lucky. It may be the house, it could be us. So we're here tonight to petition for that guardrail. We thank you for considering this on your agenda tonight.
Thank you for calling in. Next caller.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Clerk.
Next person I can identify is, it looks like Councilor Sean Rose is on the line.
Well, we'll hold Councilor Rose. We're going to call his item first, but go ahead. Let's skip over him for the time being.
Okay, sure thing. Let's see here. The next person I can identify is Paul Hernandez. I just unmuted Paul now.
Hi, my name is Paul Hernandez. I actually live in 394 Greenwood Street in Millbury, Massachusetts. I've been living here almost 2 years, but I've lived in Worcester almost my whole life, and I'm only here in support of the petition to rename Skyline Drive in Worcester. So I just wanted to come and show my support and speak on the importance of doing that, not just for the family, the Familia family, for the community in Worcester. As you know, we have a very large Latino community in Worcester, and I think this would be significant as well for that group in Worcester. And I've worked with young people in Worcester for over 20 years, and I know that would be significant to them as well. And I just wanted to come in and show some support on that petition.
Thank you very much. So the next person I can identify is Walter Burns. I just unmuted Walter now.
Yes, good evening. I have 3 issues on a public notice sent to us. The first issue is the street assessment of Knapp Ave 25662 in regards to the street abatement of $18,000. I have all photos. I have everything about why the last 3 even numbers on Knapp Ave heading to Tornita, the ground was raised in front of my house over 30 inches to equate for the driveways across the street, the last 3 houses on the odd side, because their driveways were illegally over 13% when the structures were installed. Now, I went on and on with the city, and there was a lot of ramifications here. To make a long story short, as far as that one, I told them it was no good. I couldn't walk on it. So the first time I carried the trash out on December 31st, 18, I fell and broke my leg. I was in a cast for 6 months. So I don't want to get into all that right now, because now the second one is 25695 Luther Ave and the abetment to Tornita. Mr. Russell, you know, I went before the city council and all this. This is like, we've been doing this for 5 years with you people, and that reflects also on the sewer on Luther Ave. When all the land is considered wetlands, we went over this with everybody. I have all the wetlands, the exemptions for those activities in the wetlands. So I don't want to go over 2 minutes.
Mr.
I
Burns-
realize I'm doing that now.
Mr. Burns, I would recommend that you stay on the line if you have the ability to do so, because your item will be taken up toward the very end of the meeting. And if you're on the line still, if there's any further comments you want to make.
Well, what time?
I don't know. We have a room full of people in front of us, so we'd like to get to the
I'm on
item.
I'm on a computer that I don't know how to,
Okay.
I'm computer literate.
The advice I always give everyone is find the youngest person in the room and they'll explain it to you.
Well, that's what I'm waiting for my daughter to come back. So I'm lost. So,
Thank you for calling in, and we appreciate it, and we'll get to your item in a few minutes, hopefully. Next caller, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The next caller I can identify is Elisa Archambault. I just unmuted Lisa now.
Hi, thank you. I'm calling about the abatement assessment number 25768. I guess like the previous caller, I live at 22 Cataract Street. It borders New Bern.
What's the item number, Mr. Clerk?
Mr. Chair, this is item 4K.
4K? Thank you. Go ahead.
just to modify the amount that's due. Of it's for 18,000, and I guess we were under the impression that we could get a modification for at least the first 100 feet
Okay,
or beyond.
thank you for calling in.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So now we'll move on to the call-in users not using an application. There are 4 of them. I'll unmute one at a time. I'll have everyone on a phone please state their names, and we'll let you know if you're the person you can hear. At that time, you can provide your city or town of residence and begin your testimony. So I just unmuted the first call-in user. Could you all please state your names?
Doris Thomas?
I heard a Doris.
Yes.
Very good. You can provide your full name, city or town of residence, the item you're speaking on, and begin your testimony.
My name is Doris Thomas. I'm calling from 76 Tornado Avenue here in Worcester. I'm calling on the abatement as well, number 25708. The assessment of my property was done, and it says I own the whole property, which I don't. My driveway falls into the T of the next road, and there was one more something I can't remember, but I'll stop now.
What item was that, please?
Mr. Chair, that was item number 4E. I just unmuted the next call-in user. Could you all please state your names?
Raymond Paul Spring.
I believe it was it Mr. Spring, perhaps?
Yes, Raymond Paul. Hi, I'm Raymond Paul Spring. I live at 31 Pelican Ave in Worcester, and my items are abatements for it says sewer assessment, but it's actually for street betterment for number 25742 and 25776. And those are numbers 5K and 5L, I think, on the agenda. And I just wanted to briefly state that my house and lot are on the corner of Pelican Ave and Phoebe Way, and I was assessed street betterment charges for both of these streets after they were paved. And while I was preparing to pay the betterments, I was told that sometimes the city council will grant an abatement of part of the charges for people who live on corner lots. I would like to request an abatement of part of the charges because my location is on a corner lot, which gives me an exceptionally long frontage on both streets. While I was able to pay the total charge for both streets of $30,403.50 in April, it has created a considerable strain on my finances. I was wondering if perhaps the smaller of the two charges, the $15,007.50 for Phoebe Way, could perhaps be abated, or even a smaller amount than that. But I would appreciate any relief that if it's possible. Thank you.
Thank you for calling in. Any other callers?
Mr.
Mr.
Chairman,
Clerk?
I just unmuted the last call-in user. If they could please state their name.
John Ham?
I heard a John Ham.
Yes, sir. I live at 28 Prouty Lane. What we're trying to do is to have our road resurfaced from Pleasant Street over to Airport Road. We've sent in multiple pictures, and we've also had most of our neighbors sign a petition, which was also sent in. So if you could possibly check into that and possibly do it, it would greatly be appreciated up there in the neighborhood.
Okay.
There's a lot of manholes that are sinking. There's the road is just falling apart.
John, thank you for calling in. I know those are all routinely approved and put on a list, and you should follow up with your district counselor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That brings us to the conclusion of the this portion of the meeting.
I want to take out of order the 3B, Councilor Rose's petition. It's a report of the planning board upon the petition of Councilor Rose on behalf of Rich Lundgren, request Chester Terrace, where the Maynard family lived for over 50 years, be renamed in honor of Jason Menard. This, of course, is firefighter Menard, who we lost tragically a little over a year ago. Councilor Rose, I'll recognize you for your petition.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can you hear me okay?
Plenty, yes.
Thank you. Lieutenant Menard grew up at 144 Chester Street with his sister Heather, his father, mother, James Menard, and Cheryl Pike. Jay's maternal grandparents lived at 144 Chester before him. The Pikes lived at that address for nearly 35 years. Jay's paternal grandparents lived at 168 Chester Street, and the Menards lived at that address for around 50 years, and his godparents, Ralph and Kathy London, lived at both 176 and 120 Chester Street for a combined 45 years. And in between the Menard and Pike residences, Chester Terrace, that's a connection between Chester Street and Westport Road. It has no property attached to it, and so a name change here shouldn't be an issue for residents. And this is also the corner where Jay and his family took the bus every day in elementary, middle, and high school. So I'm calling to express incredible support for this item, and thank you for recognizing me and moving this up the agenda for us here tonight.
Thank you, Councilor Rose. Is there anyone else who would like to be heard on this item on Chester Terrace being converted to honor Jason Menard? But we don't have a street or a Ave on this, do we, Commissioner? Is this the one that we don't have a specific, so are we going to call it, is the recommendation of DPW to call it Jason Menard Street, or Road, or Way, or does it matter?
We would have no objection to whichever you wish.
Okay. We have someone at the microphone. If you could identify yourself, name and city of residence, please. We'll like to be heard on this.
Yes, Richard Lundin from Holden, formerly of Chester Street. I'm the one, Councilor Rose helped me get this forward. And actually what we're looking for is, especially with firefighters, more of like a square, like someplace we could put a monument with the street name. So maybe something like Lieutenant Firefighter Jason Menard Square, if that fits into
I don't think that
street
would
name.
fit for, it's actually naming of
Or
a
Menard
street. It's
Square.
not the naming of an intersection, though. So I don't think we could call it something that it isn't. What would your preference be, though, if it was road or street? I think that, am I correct, Commissioner, or can we call a road a square when
No,
it's
you
not
are
a square?
You are correct, unless you want to look at a possible, the honorary name designation, which is the ordinance change that just occurred a
Yeah, we could
couple
do that
months
at a
ago.
later date, but I think this is before us. It's already been
That's
the
correct.
planning board. I'd rather get this done and honor the firefighter that served the city and served so well. Councilor Carlson.
Mr. Chairman, Jason's mom is in the audience, so maybe her husband could let us know, does way work or does street work?
Maybe,
If you could come to the microphone, please. I'm sorry, I didn't notice you in the corner. You could go right through or pull it out. It doesn't matter. You can open it up. Just pull it towards you. There you go. You just identify yourself for the record.
Thank you for recognizing this motion this evening. How it's named is not that important to us as a family. To have recognition for the sacrifice of my stepson, my wife's son. Anything would be a tremendous honor. I'd like to thank Councilor Rose, Rich Lundin, who brought this motion forward to honor our son. We've lost 9 firefighters over the last 20 years. To have something, an acknowledgement of our beloved Jason would be a tremendous honor. And if it includes a square, a street, kind of irrelevant to us as a family, we'd be tremendously honored to have any type of memorial, whether it's a street, a square. I think you get the picture, but
Why don't we, Madam, why don't we go with the street, because that's the obvious thing that whenever anything is written down in the city and they leave it out, whether it's a road or an avenue, we take for granted that it's street, so why don't we go with firefighter Jason Menard Street? And And then as far as putting a square or a monument of some kind, that's something we can address later on through the new ordinance that the city has put forward about renaming things in an honorary way. So that's something we could address with a separate petition, but I'd like to see us get this done now because we have this before us and it's already been a planning board. Council Wally, have any comments?
Just quickly, appreciate the order by Councilor Rose. It's a smart thing to do, and I appreciate the stepfather's comments. Your son was a hero, and I'm glad to support this order.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else who would like to be heard on this item? Hearing none, let's take a roll call. Mr. Clerk?
Councilor Merrill Carlson? Yes. Councilor Wally?
Yes.
And Chairperson Councilor Russell.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you all.
We're going to take number 3C next. It's a petition of Anthony Petroni. Request Skyline Drive be renamed for Officer Manny Familiar Way. Officer Petroni, or Sergeant Petroni, I should say.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I stand before you as the petition reads, but I just wrote a couple little things down, just not to get into everything that we all know about what happened on June 4th. But in my opinion, oftentimes heroes are not remembered in the city, state, and country the way they should be. I filed this petition to ask that Skyline Drive be changed to Officer Manny Familiar Way. As we know, Officer Familiar's last tour of duty, the road he patrolled, was Skyline Drive, before he entered that pond at Green Hill to save the life of Troy Love. It's my hope, and the hope of thousands of others, that we remember Manny by having this street name changed. We will have thousands of children that attend Worcester Tech over the next 10 to 20 years. Many of them will ask themselves, who is Officer Manny Familiar? And then they will finally learn about what Manny did in the heroic actions that he displayed on June 4th. I respectfully ask that this petition is accepted. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarge. Anyone else who would like to be heard on this item? Councilor Merrill Carlson?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I think that to Anthony Petroni's request, I think that this is a great way for us to remember Officer Manny Familiar. As Anthony stated, that this is a officer who his last trip, if you will, was on Skyline Drive trying to save another young man. So I think that this is only fitting that Skyline Drive be renamed. And I know oftentimes we also talk about the impacts of others on the street, and given the fact of, you know, what's up there, this certainly will not create any type of hardship for this area up there in renaming the street. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Council. Council Wally?
Just quickly, I think Mr. Petroni and Councilor Carlson appropriately reflected why we want to do this, so I'm more than glad to support the order.
And I'm proud to support the item, too. So I make the motion to approve. Mr. Clerk, could you do a roll call?
Councilor Merrill Carlson?
Yes.
Councilor Wally?
Yes.
Chairperson Councilor Russell.
Yes. Okay, and then we're going to move to item 3A, which is Frank Santa Maria requests Casco Street be renamed Santa Maria Way. Mr. Santa Maria, I believe you're here this evening. Would you like to be heard? Could you go to the microphone and identify yourself, name, and city of residence?
Hello, everybody. My name is Frank Santa Maria, 25 Bluebell Road, Worcester, Mass. The reason I'm here today, although it's not nearly as important as the firefighter and the policeman, the people I'm going to talk about are heroes to me. My great-grandfather, my grandfather, and my father. They have all worked in the business in Worcester since 1911, actually. We own and operate businesses on Casco Street in Worcester. We are the only landowners on the street. We're the only people who receive mail, and we're basically it. And I'm asking for the name change for basically posterity, for my my 2 sons who work in the business with me, and also my grandchildren. And I respectfully request that you grant the name change. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Santa Maria. Anyone else who would like to be heard on this item, either in favor or opposed? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion or comments, whichever you prefer.
Motion.
Motion is made by Councilor Merrill Carlson. Mr. Clerk, could you take a roll call?
Counselor Merrill Carlson,
Yes.
Counselor Wally,
Yes.
and Chairperson Counselor Russell.
Yes. Okay. All right, so now we're going to go move along to street abatement assessment petitions. Assistant Commissioner Russ Adams, in general, could you tell folks just basically what we are allowed to do, what we're not allowed to do? Because there are, I mean, if it was up to us, we'd be granting abatements for everybody we talk to. And you know, and what we did too, or what I did recently, which deals with this for the council agenda for next, our upcoming council agenda, I put an item on that I'm sure will be co-sponsored by some of my colleagues on the council, that asks for the Department of Public Works to look at each one of these assessments each time in advance and find out who should be charged what after an abatement. Why even send them a bill for the whole amount if they qualify for one of these abatements because they're on a corner lot or some other rule? Because this board is limited legally. We're not able to grant abatements just because we'd like to grant them. We have to hang our hat on the rule or the regulation. Could you elaborate on that, Commissioner, Assistant Commissioner?
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Just in response to your comments, we do take the abatement request or the availability of abatement into account when we do sewer abatements, but that's not how it's done when we do street abatements. So
why?
I don't know that. I'm sure it has something to do with state statute, but we can certainly look into that state statute and see if a change can be made to what you're suggesting.
Well, because it makes sense, because, you know, I could think of many folks who might have gotten a bill for a full amount when they were only due partial, you know, of that amount and they might not have thought of asking for the abatement. So, but as far as the abatements that are on our agenda this evening and any abatement that we deal with, could you elaborate for the public just what ways what we have to go by?
So, Mr. Chairman, there are 2 ways that a street assessment can be abated. The first one is under the corner lot rule, as you heard someone's testimony mention that on the phone. So what happens with the corner lot rule is that they front at least on one public street, and then they're getting assessed because a second street, hence the corner lot, was converted to public.
Okay.
So what happens is they get assessed for that amount. It's a dollar amount per foot that was recommended at the time that the private street conversion was voted or recommended by this Public Works Committee and then approved by the City Council. So that rate is multiplied by their frontage on the street that was converted. The abatement comes into play when the other street is already public and they have a certain amount of footage on that side street. So they can get abated up to 100 feet on that side street. So for instance, if you had 150 feet of frontage on the street that was recently converted to public, they would get charged that 150 feet times whatever rate it was. But then the abatement would be, say they had, for example, they had 100 feet on the other street. That 100 feet would be minused or subtracted from the 150 feet of frontage that they had on the other street. Mm-hmm. So in a sense, it would be a calculation of the 150 feet minus the 100 feet on the other street. They would be left to be assessed of an amount of 50 feet of frontage times by the rate at which it was approved.
Okay, so in short, unless they have unless they had access to a public street on another portion of the same property, it's virtually impossible to grant an abatement.
That's correct.
Okay, and then when we deal with the sewer abatements, why don't you elaborate a little bit on that too, because I'm sure we have folks here on sewer abatements.
So if I may go back to the street one more
Go ahead.
second, there was a second way that you can get an abatement, is the street abatement falls under the category of the front to back rule.
Yep.
So that means if you have, you abut two streets
Right.
that are almost parallel to each other, they don't have to be parallel, but that are less than 200 feet away from each other. So the closer they are together, the more abatement you get. So
Right.
if you have two streets that are back-to-back of 100 feet, you would get a full abatement on that street.
And the Public Works engineers look at each one of these applications on a map. They determine what rule applies and doesn't apply, and then they make recommendations. And really, the council and this board has no flexibility in redrawing a map or anything else. Long and short of it is when it comes to public streets, is that if you have access or frontage on that public street on another part of your property, you can get your charge discounted accordingly. And these streets, these private streets that we're dealing with, these were built, long before any of us, never mind, came into the building. Some of us weren't even born when some of these streets were put out. And for what reason they allowed them to be built in a haphazard way, decades and decades ago, even sometimes more than decades ago. And then what we did is try and approve them. And once the street is done, now the city is responsible for upkeep of that road as opposed to a private street where the property owners are in charge of upkeep. So just to give people a little bit of a background. So let's move along with these, Commissioner, and we can talk about the sewer ones later.
All right.
On 4A, the Picado, I think it is, requests abatement of street assessment, amount of $19,000 for Knapp Ave. What's your recommendation on that and why?
Mr. Chairman, our recommendation is to give a partial abatement. The original assessment amount was $9,000. DPW's recommendation is to give a partial abatement of $1,800, leaving a new assessment of $7,200, and that's because of the front-to-back rule.
Okay, and is there anyone here on that, Elena or Marcos Bacalo, I think it is? And again, as I call the items, if it's calling an item that you're here on, feel free to come to the microphone if you'd like to be heard. They also, the same folks, have a 4B, which is the abatement, requested abatement in the amount of $9,000 for Pelican Ave. What's your recommendation on that one?
Mr. Chairman, our recommendation is to deny. There's no grounds for the abatement. So this is a front to back, and like I said, there's 180 feet between the two public streets. So in order to get the abatement, they have to pay on one of the streets. So
Right.
they're
Just one or the other.
They're paying on Pelican. The abatement request is being denied, so they have to pay the $9,000 on that one. We are, like I said, recommending a partial abatement on the other one of the
Okay,
amounts
so
mentioned.
then the motion would be to deny 4B and to approve a partial abatement. The abatement amount is $1,800 on 4A. That's $1,800 off of the price, right?
That's correct, Mr.
Okay,
Chairman.
let's take a roll call on those two items collectively.
Counselor Merrill Carlson?
Yes.
Counselor Wally?
Yes.
And Chairperson Counselor Russell?
Yes. Okay, Quinoas and Belcedo request the abatement of street assessment in the amount of $19,000 on Camden Ave. On this, Commissioner, why don't you tell us what your recommendation is? I have a note that you're talking about a partial abatement, but no amounts. Could you tell us what you're recommending, and then I'll call on the residents that would like to be heard?
Mr. Chairman, DPW's recommendation is for a partial abatement. So their original assessment amount was $19,083. There's a partial abatement amount that we're recommending is $15,000. It's leaving a new payment of $4,083. And this is for the corner lot rule, excuse me.
Okay, and this is because they're on a corner lot?
Yes.
Okay. Anthony or Teresa, would you like to be heard? Why don't you identify yourself, name and city of residence, just for the record?
Teresa Belcedo, 29 Indiana Street,
Okay?
And Anthony Quinones.
same
Okay.
address.
Same address.
Is that okay with you? You happy with that? I know everybody would be
I would
happy just to have
rather
nothing.
less. I mean, my issue was, I live in Indiana. Camden runs the side of my house. Few years prior to them doing Camden, they did Indiana. And an assessment was paid at that time. Now, and my driveway, my front door, my back door goes in and out of Indiana. I have a fence in my side of my yard and in the back. There's no access. We didn't get new grass blown in our front yard. We didn't get new driveway halfway paved. So, it didn't do anything for our property.
I understand your frustration, but again, these are the rules that we have to go by, that it goes up to the 100 feet. Commissioner, could you re-explain, did you got it up to 100 feet?
I do. I understood.
You understand
I
what it was,
understood, but
okay.
I just needed
All
to
right.
say my thing.
Okay, well, thank you for coming in. We appreciate it. We wish we had better news for you.
All right.
Um,
Thank you.
Any motion would be to move the recommendation of DPW with the, it would end up with an assessment of what, 4,083?
That's correct.
Okay. So motion on that item, 4C.
Counselor Merrill Carlson?
Yes.
Counselor Wally?
Yes.
And Chairperson Counselor Russell?
Yes. And on 4D, Belanger, request abatement assessment on Pelican Ave, amount of $13,500. Mr. Assistant Commissioner, could you tell us, I know the note that you gave me said that you're coming in with a recommendation to approve, but can you explain why?
Mr. Chairman, the original assessment amount was $9,000. This is a corner lot rule. We're recommending a full abatement under that corner lot rule.
Okay. Is there anyone here that would like to be heard on that, on Belanger? No? Let's take the next one, too. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm just wondering why.
Could you stand at the microphone, please? And identify yourself, name and city of residence, even though
Hi.
I know you.
Karen Hall, 59 Barrett Ave. I'm here for an abatement also.
Okay.
And I'm just listening to these things and I'm wondering why. I know what he explained, why they do it, that's what their rules are now. But obviously, all these people aren't happy. Why can't we do it a different way?
Mr. Commissioner, you want to
Like,
elaborate?
my
or-
suggestion is, why not everybody has to pay $5,000? Why does it $13,500 for you or $20,000 for you?
Right, and the way it is established and the way it's always been done, and I understand you're saying, why does it have to be the way it's always been done? But when you build the street out, they go by linear foot. The reason why they go by linear foot is because it costs more to build along someone's frontage. And then the property value, if you have a house lot that's 50 feet long, and your neighbor has one that's 100 feet long, to put the street in front of your neighbor's property is gonna cost twice as much as it's gonna cost to put it in front of your property. So what the city did was they came up with a price per linear foot. And that's the way they determine it. And then they do it separately for each project. When they start a conversion, they go to a street and they figure out what it's gonna cost to build out the street. Sometimes a street is a little tougher than others because of ledge or because of slope or drainage or whatever, so there are different things that are built into that cost. But if they break it down by the cost per linear foot. And then the theory being that the property value of your home goes up quite substantially and based on the size of the lot you have. And in some cases, people have lots that are big enough where they're actually able to break off a piece of their lot and have someone build a house on another piece of land. I know most people don't want that because they want privacy or they just, for whatever reason, they want the bigger lot. But the reality is it adds value to the property, and that's the rationale behind the way the city does it.
Well, I don't see that in the area where we had that done. We didn't see that at all. There's no people with extra house lots, except for Tony Economo, who benefited a lot because he had his aunt, who is my neighbor, petition to get the street done. And the only one who benefited is him with the 6 houses he put in. And, but did he pay?
I don't know
No.
what him or anybody else paid. I'm just dealing with the items that are before
Do
us
new
on the
houses
agenda.
pay
Say it
A
again?
new house that's built after the street is done.
Commissioner, do you want to respond to that? I don't,
Yes, houses
go
pay.
ahead. All houses?
New houses.
All new houses pay?
Whether
If the
there's,
street, if they do the new street in front of their property?
Mr. Chairman, whether there's a house there or not, they get billed if they have frontage on the way, the
Right.
rate.
And then when a new house is built, the new house also gets charged extra just for the pleasure of hooking up to the sewer, not only for the sewer charges, but they get charged a fee based on how many bedrooms they have and that kind of stuff too, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. That's what it is, and it's
Should
what
I
it is.
say anything about my
What
abatement?
it is, Karen, is that these streets were built, like I said, decades and decades and decades ago, and they were not done right. And then what's happens is that some folks like a private street, some folks maintain a private street, and they're supposed to keep up the peace in front of their property. In some neighborhoods, it works well because everybody gets in and pitches in and takes care of the property in front of them. And in other streets, it doesn't. And petitions are made over the years for the streets to be converted to public. And it adds value to the property, but it's just it's something the city does, and it should have been done back when they first built the houses years ago. But it's just something.
I
that's-
also think that they should take into consideration all the people who are coming forward with abatements who don't like it, who didn't want it, and now they're paying for it. And there got to be a better way to do that. Like if it was even and everybody said, okay, everybody got to pay $5,000 or something, not 13,500 and 20,000 with interest.
Yep.
And
I understand your suggestion, but again, it's done based on the,
okay, well, I just think that the city council, you work for us also. I know we pay our bills and our taxes, but it would be nice to be heard and something to change.
thank you.
Thank you.
So on 4C, let's take a vote. They vote the partial abatement as recommended by DPW, 4C.
And Mr.
Mr.
Chairman, this is
Clerk?
for a full abatement? Is that correct?
It was
Or-
a partial, a partial abatement. What's the amount? Did we do 4C?
We already did
excuse
4C.
me. 4D, excuse me. 4D was a full abatement.
That's correct.
Thank you. Counselor Merrill Carlson?
Yes.
Counselor Wally?
Yes.
And Chairperson Counselor Russell?
Yes, and 4E, Solto, Thomas, Doris Thomas, and Sergio Solta, I think it is, request abatement of the street assessment, in the amount of $15,000 for Toronita. What's your recommendation on this, Mr. Commissioner, or Assistant Commissioner?
Mr. Chairman, our recommendation is to deny. It doesn't fall under the rule.
So there's nothing we can do to hang our hat on any rule. Okay? Is there anyone here on that item? Hearing none, I'll move on to the next item. I think, Mr. Clerk, because we're all here in person, the three councilors, can we do voice votes on these, or do we have to do roll calls on everything because
Mr.
we're
Chair-
remote?
Oh, sorry, Mr. Chairman. If you'd like, maybe we could just, for safety's sake, since there are people participating remotely, we could maybe do collectively at the end of this section, maybe do one roll call.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so the recommendation on 4E was to deny. The recommendation on 4F, Corville, on the abatement of Knapp Ave, also is to deny. Commissioner, why is that?
So, Mr. Chairman, this is another corner lot. So on 4F, our recommendation is to deny, but, so they pay on one street, and the partial abatement will be given on the other street, which is 4G. So if I just read 4F here, there was an assessment amount of $18,736.50. There's no grounds for the abatement, so that's a recommendation to deny. And then if you take 4G up simultaneously, 4G will be the street that DPW recommends a partial abatement on. There is an original assessment of $18,750. Our partial abatement amount is $15,000, leaving a new amount of $3,750.
Okay, so that's only on that one, but the previous one, they have to pay the whole amount.
That's correct.
Okay. And on, is there anyone here, Corville? Anyone here on that item? Oh, okay. And like I said, if I call an item that you're here on and you want to be heard, just come up to the microphone. 4H, Simon Odell Fleming requests abatement, street betterment assessment for 8940 on Stearns Street. This was in committee before, in March. And your recommendation is to hold it again? What's up with that, Mr. Commissioner?
So, Mr. Chairman, I had to do a little research on this one, but at the time, it was held, because if you read the petition, the petitioner is, I don't want to, I can't say verbatim, but they're saying that the notice, the dates of the notice, they weren't
So
the owner of the property.
it
and
was a legal
there-
matter?
There was an issue there about when they
All
got
right, so it's something
notified.
you want to clear up the
Well, it's
details
not
on.
even us. I believe the committee sent this to the treasurer's office to investigate the timing of the notices, and to date, we haven't heard back from the
Yeah,
treasurer's office.
because we've got a new.
We have a new treasurer, that's
New
correct.
treasurer, a new chief financial officer. So why don't we do a chairman's order to have the clerk send over to the chief financial officer requesting a report on 4H, and the recommendation will be to hold. So we'll do those 4 items collectively, the DPW recommendations.
Counselor Merrill Carlson,
Yes.
Counselor Wally,
Yes.
and Chairperson Counselor Russell.
Yes, okay. And then we'll move a little bit further down. 4I, Gray, Joanne Gray requests the abatement of the street assessment in the amount of $15,000 at New Bern Road. She called in. Your recommendation on that is a partial. Can you explain why and how much?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, our recommendation is a partial abatement. The original assessment amount was $15,000. The recommended abatement amount is $10,050, leaving a new payment of $4,950. And this is because of the corner lot rule.
Okay. Okay. And the next one is 4J. Karen and Jeff Hall request abatement, street betterment, the amount of $13,500 for Barrett Ave. The lady that was at the microphone a moment ago is the person that put this in. Now, your recommendation on this is to deny. Could you clearly state why and why the board is not able to grant this?
So this is the original, this is Barrett Ave. This is the original assessment amount of $13,500. It was given a recommendation to deny because it didn't fall under either the corner lot rule or the front to back rule.
Okay, Mr. Hall?
Jeffrey Hall, 59 Barrett Ave. As you said before, this should have been taken care of 50 years ago or whatever. And now it's coming and it's on my shoulders when I didn't even want to pay for this road to begin with. And now I gotta come up with $13,000 and there's nothing I can do about it? Plus interest over a 20-year period. It's kind of crazy.
I know, I mean, but from someone.
Well, I'm not a big, why, they pave streets all the time in Worcester. Those people aren't paying anymore. They're not getting any, we're not paying any less tax to them, property taxes or whatever.
I understand your frustration. Hopefully, when you purchase the property, you do what what was involved in a private street ahead of time. And that's the way it is in the city. I mean,
Well, how do we change the way it is, though?
Well, the way we change the way it is we convert these streets out. If you think about it from a real estate standpoint, and I don't want to get into, put my other hat on as a real estate agent, but a home or property, any piece of property, whether it's a home or even a vacant lot, if it's on a street that's guaranteed to be taken care of in perpetuity by the city, it's worth a lot more than a home that is on a private street that part of the private street ownership is part of the rules and, is that you're taking care of it.
I understand what you're saying, but nobody does, though, on any
And
private
that's the problem.
street.
That's the problem, because one person at a time, we have to do, but if that's the deal. I mean, and I know I personally owned a home on a private street, and the neighbors got together and paid to blacktop the street. We didn't, if there's a pothole that occurred, we would have had to fix it because it was still a private street. But we reached in and maintained and worked as as a group to try and work on it. Some neighborhoods, that just doesn't work out. And out of frustration, people come into City Hall and they say, this private street is not working out. Let's make it public. The city does the engineering work, does the cost analysis, hires a contractor to do it, improves the property values by doing that. And
Why isn't
and
the
that's what
city
they do.
paying for it then?
Say it again?
Why isn't the city paying for it then?
The city is passing along those charges because they probably should have been done originally. If you were going to develop, Commissioner, could you elaborate today if someone had a street, what they have to do today to before they go and build houses on if they're going to make a street, they need to do subdivision regulations?
Correct, and that would go through the subdivision control laws, and you'd have to build a street to the city standard, which would include drainage as well as the roadway, sidewalks, et cetera.
And lighting.
And lighting, everything.
Right. See, and years ago, they weren't done. So, I mean, I wish I had a better answer, believe me. I didn't have a better answer when I owned the home on a private street, so, but that's what it is. So that's the recommendation on that item, was to deny. On number 4K, Archambault, request abatement, the street betterment assessment of $18,175 for Newborn Road. The assessment was $14,999. Excuse me, the abatement was $14,999. Commissioner, can you explain to us why?
Mr. Chairman, the original assessment amount was $18,175. The partial abatement amount, as you said, is $14,999.50. That leaves a new amount of $3,175.50, and this is because of the corner lot rule.
Okay. Anybody here on that item? Again, if I call your item, you want to be heard on it, just stand on the microphone. For L, Curie, Michael and Kathleen Curie request abatement on Camden. The amount is $72.37. Change?
Mr. Chairman, our recommendation is for a full abatement on this one.
To approve it, and why?
Corner lot rule.
Okay, so they have plenty of frontage on another public street.
That's correct.
All right. Anyone want to be heard on this item? Next item. Okay. On Landry, Paul and Ellen Landry request a street abatement on Knapp Ave. Why don't we get his recommendation first, Mr. Commissioner?
Mr. Chairman, so this is a corner lot, so we're recommending to deny on M, which is before you now, 4M, we're recommending to deny, but then we're granting a full abatement on N.
On the next one, 4N.
That's
Okay.
correct.
So he is being granted the $15,000 charge on 4N, but he is being denied the $18,000 request on 4M, as in Michael.
That's correct.
Mr. Landry, I presume?
Yes.
Could you identify yourself for name and city?
Sure. Paul Landry, 2 Knapp Ave.
Okay.
I've lived at that address for 38 years. Approximately about 23 years ago, I come into the same room, and Jordan Levy and Ray Mariano ran the Public Works, and was told numerous times, in order to make the road public, you have to have the sewer first. And once the sewer was done, the asphalt would follow. Well, what happened in our case was we were promised that the thing was going to get done. The city ran out of money, and the sewer was done like, I don't know how many years later, 15, 20 years later, whatever.
Yep.
And we ended up getting an abatement on the sewer, and even though I had to pay to connect to the sewer, $4,800, which I shouldn't have had to pay because I never got that money back. But anyway, so for that reason, I feel that we should be grandfathered in. We were promised, in this room, I was promised, this is the way it's done. Everybody knows that's the way it's done. So, you know, I think that the rules should be fixed for this.
I don't really follow you, though. You were promised what, sir?
We were promised that in order to make the street public, first of all, you have to have petition sewage.
Sure.
And as soon as you get the sewage done, we were told in this room that once you get the sewage done, then they will follow with another petition,
do this-
and you get the road
Right,
done.
but
And the city ran out of money, so it should have been done at, 2,000 price.
The
not-
city does fund these as far as advancing the money for them, but I don't think that they Commissioner, you want to respond to that? Again, the commissioner who's only been here
Well, I
for
wasn't here 20 years ago.
Been here for 6 months, we'll put him on the spot and ask him to do it.
I believe the issue is the financing of the city and that the city did not complete the construction of the roadway only because there was no funding available to do it. And Russ may have been here when they did finally got to the paving. And I'm assuming then when the money was restored, there was money available, the petition was granted, they went through the cost estimate, they came up with the estimate of the cost at that time of what it was going to cost to build the road. Petition went through, votes went through, the road was built, and the charges were based on the original estimate of what the road cost to do, not the actual cost of what it did, even though some time it transpired. So I believe that's where the per-foot charge came up with.
All right, but that's not something that we could,
I don't know how you can,
I mean, can I say something?
wait just a minute.
I don't know how the city could obligate anything without having the available appropriation, money to appropriate.
Especially from 20 or 30 years ago. If you'd like to identify yourself, name and city of record.
My name is Susan Burns.
Again, please, in the microphone.
Okay, my name is Susan Burns, and it was 19 years ago, and it was put to the side. There was hundreds of streets probably fixed in the interim in 19 years, let's face it. But they forgot about it. When I came here, probably, I'd say it was maybe, I'd have it written down at home, but probably 8 or 9 years ago. And I said, the sewers came up again, and I said, we were quoted a price for the sewers. And Kate Toomey was here, and she said, we would never do that. And I said, I have the paperwork at home to prove it. I proved the case. First of all, let me tell you this. I was really dissatisfied with Kate Toomey because she told me, fax it to me, I'll get back to you. I faxed it to her probably 4 different occasions. I never heard one thing till this came up years later. What he's trying to say is, we were told at the meeting that we would petition for the sewerage first. It would be approved. Then we would petition for the street. But because they never did it, because they just forgot about it, and we came, you know me, I'm at every meeting there is, that it was never done. And now we're disputing the fact that why are we paying these prices now when that was approved and if that had gone forward even 2 years later, but 19?
So what your concern is?
My concern would be, what was the price in
Right.
X amount of years when we petitioned for this and when it was
All right,
approved?
so what I'm going to do with these items then, this is 4M.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
Go ahead,
I'm sorry.
Commissioner.
If I may, what the resident is speaking about is the difference in the cost of the rate that the sewer
Right.
was installed, not the street. So what's before you right now is a street petition.
Right,
but
and that's what I'm
they're
talking about.
referring to is actually the sewer
No,
rate.
I'm talking about the street. I'm talking about the
I
street.
think what they're talking about,
street was supposed to follow
Just a
sewer.
minute, Susan. Just give me a second.
Sorry.
I think if I'm hearing them correctly, that their concern is that they were promised one price way back when for the construction of the streets, and it went, because the city procrastinated with it,
19
use that
years.
word, even though I probably shouldn't, but it was in their pile, that the price changed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold 4M, I'm going to hold 4N, as in Nicholas, and I'm also going to hold 4Q, which is Ms. Burns' item, because I'm sure that's the same conversation we're going to have with her, and 4R.
Also,
And is it 4P also?
yes.
Okay, so we're going to hold those. Is 4O included with that, or no, on that?
No.
Okay, so
Yeah,
4,
Oh, yes, he's just.
all right,
not
so,
good, sorry.
so we're going to hold,
Yes.
we're going to hold, Mr. Clerk, you got all this? We're going to hold 4R, 4Q, 4P, 4O, 4N, and 4M. And we're going to,
Why are you gonna hold 4?
we're going to hold those items, because I'm going to request a report from the DPW outlining when the item was first before a committee that was a predecessor of this committee, and what prices were allotted at that time, and if the prices match the prices that were today. That's all. We can hold it for a future meeting. So we're going to take those collectively, and then the other items, I through M, not including M, just number I, we're going to move the recommendation of the DPW.
Can I ask you one
Collect-
question? What happens with our bill right now? Because we got bills.
My Mr. Commissioner, would you like to address that? What happens with his bill? I wish we had somebody from the law department or from the,
Until there's a change. Mr. Chairman, until there's a change in a vote by this committee and approved by the subsequent council, nothing changes.
so the bill is still due.
Right.
Okay. So the bill will be still due until it's heard.
So you're guilty until proven innocent. That's what you're telling me.
Sir, I wish I could change things as I go along, but I can't. So the motion is as outlined?
Counselor Merrill Carlson,
Yes.
Counselor Wally,
Yes.
and Chairperson Counselor Russell.
Yes. Now, the sewer petition, assessment petitions. On these, we're also dealing with the same kind of situation, right, Commissioner? If someone has sewer on the other side of their property, do they have to pay the assessment because it goes across the front of it?
Mr. Chairman, no. So these, if they don't get charged on that, it's not the same thing. It's not a corner lot rule. We calculate the abatements to what they should be. To my knowledge, there is no reason really for an abatement unless we made an error, which you'll see in one of these we did. We inadvertently assessed someone that shouldn't have been assessed, and we're recommending that assessment be abated in
These
that
ones
particular
on,
case.
just in general conversation on some of these items that are on the agenda, the ones on Route 20, how much are they paying a linear foot? Commissioner, I gave you a heads up that I'd be asking that question, so how much is it per linear foot?
It's not, Mr. Chairman, it's not linear foot, it's by square foot.
Square foot of the lot?
No, yes, square foot of the lot up to a 100-foot offset line from the
All right, so how much
frontage.
are
it's
they
an
paying
area.
per square foot?
$1.
$1. If I was petitioned for a private street someplace that didn't have sewer, what would I be charged on a regular residential street?
You would be charged the same rate, if I understand your question
That's my
correctly.
question. In other words, my question is, the people on Route 20, are they being charged more or the same kind of price that anyone is being charged for sewer connections?
The same.
For sewer line going down the street?
The same, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so, and what about the state funding for the sewer project?
Yep, there was, I believe, a $10 million environmental bond bill that was given to us by the state.
Yep.
But I think I know what you're referring to as a stipulation in the regulations that say you could take the construction cost and you could minus that federal grant amount, and you could assess people at that particular rate. So in the,
So, wait a minute. So, are you saying that we took money from the state and from the federal government, and that we're still assessing folks the same amount?
But no, but the difference is, when you minus the grant, you take an amount of the cost of the construction, and that's not what is happening with the $1 a foot. So the $1 a foot is much less than, so for instance, there's, the cost of the Route 20 project was $25 million. So if you minus out that 10 grand, I'm sorry, that $10 million, you have an assessable amount to the abutters if you were going to assess them on a construction cost basis, okay? So there is 1,500,000 square feet of assessable land on Route 20 to assess. So if you took the 15 million and divided it by the 1.5 million square feet, you'd get a rate of $10 per square foot as opposed to $1. So
you're saying that the money from the federal government, the state government, brought that number down to $1?
no, not at all. The state.
If I'm having trouble following it, how do you expect other folks to follow it.
I'm not, you posed the question, I'm sure just trying to answer it.
I am completely
I-
confused now.
If I may,
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I think what Russ is trying to explain is that there was a dollar amount.
Yeah.
And they subtracted the 10 million that they got in the grant, there was still a $15 million cost. What was assessed was roughly 10% of that.
Right.
That's what the individual property owners paid.
So where did the 90% come from? If that's
Later-
about 10% of it, where did the 90 come
remainder would
from?
have come, correct me if I'm wrong, from your sewer rate.
Well, Mr. Chairman, there's two ways to assess for sewer. There's one stipulation, you assess by a square foot of the rate that is set now by the city of Worcester. That rate is $1 a square foot. That's the rate. When you talk about did the city receive state funding, that's a different type of assessment. You no longer go by the rate that's set by the city of Worcester, that dollar per square foot. What you do is like I said, you take that cost of construction, you minus out that grant, and then you take that amount and assess it over the square footage, the
All right, but
assessable
you're
square
saying
foot.
that it should have been $10 a foot. If you, after taking the state and federal money out of it.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. If
It
you were
should
gonna
have been.
choose this other way to assess, we would have assessed people $10 a square foot as opposed to $1.
But that
So
is-
we chose the lesser
How
amount.
about if we
to-
didn't have the state or federal money? How much would it be per foot then?
Well, it would have been $25 a square foot.
Okay, so that's just so people can understand.
Exactly.
Because that's a question I've received many times. I thought this was a state project. I thought the state came down and gave us a grant, so that's the rationale behind my theory of it, so that, because I'm sure there's more than one person in the room that's gonna ask or online listening in. So let's deal with these items and see what the recommendations out of DPW. Report of the Committee on Public Works. This is Landry and Burns. These were the ones that were, I'm going to hold that one for a moment until we're finished up with these others. Noon, on behalf of Elmira LLC, request the abatement of 5310 for 2 Orella Street, Southwest Cutoff.
Yes, sir.
Sure, and here's recommendation. Let's hear his recommendation first. Mr. Adams,
Mr. Chairman, our recommendation is to deny.
and reason being?
They have frontage on Southwest Cutoff.
Okay, and sir, you'd like to be heard, name and city of residence?
Yes, Alfred Noon. I'm the owner of Almira LLC. I bought these lands in an auction. There are allegations from neighbors that the city keep bringing those lots on the auction, but those are not worth anything. The reason why is that both frontage that are called frontage lots 2 and 4 Aurilla have been are wetlands, are not buildable, and is not a value that the whole lots is in a 20-foot difference ditch. And I even supposed to be paid from WP from the snow that they push in my property every year, and not to pay for something that is not even buildable. It's
You're the
not-
same owner on 5C where you're requesting another 5,500 on another parcel there.
Exactly. They are both are not accessible from Route 20 or for the Aurilla, and not buildable.
Commissioner, how's this work if a property is basically not able to utilize the sewer? You know, because they're down in a gully and, you know, gravity, sewer flows downhill, so they would have to install a pumping system? Would that be true to utilize it?
That's my understanding, yes.
And
The
would it-
sewer is there, it is available.
What about if it's wet and it's something that is designated as a wetland and it's virtually unusable?
I can answer
Go ahead,
that if you don't
Assistant
mind.
Commissioner, go ahead.
It's just not, whether a lot is buildable doesn't enter into the statute as far as.
See, but that
when
doesn't
we-
make sense, though,
when we
because
assess or not.
what we're doing basically is causing a taking of a property. by assessing this in if it's unusable, if it's truly unusable. And in some cases, people say it's unusable, and it becomes usable. You know, I mean,
I would like to be usable, and
built-
I'm more than willing to pay
Right.
this money. But in this position that I am put on the corner and say, you cannot do nothing with that.
Yep.
It's like I'm billing you and I want this land from you.
Yep.
It's like eminent
I understand.
domain.
I understand
Give
your
me the-
frustration.
It's not worth it, and they put the bill 5,000, 10,000. It's not making any sense.
I understand your frustration, but none of this is nothing that we can grant anything on?
That's correct.
Okay. So what does the person do? He has to pay the assessment for the sewer going by for a lot that might be wet, because this is an issue we had with the previous one that we're gonna talk about later. And, you know, when folks are asked to pay for assessments, what's the alternative here? There is no alternative.
I don't see one.
The alternative is to change those laws to make it buildable, to make it accessible. I can pay to make it accessible from the real side, but give me the opportunity to make it buildable. And if this change, then it makes sense to pay this money. But if you don't give me any other chance, you say just give me that
Is
land that
it accessible from Arilla Street?
It's no street.
So this is a private street, so you'd
It's a
have
private, but.
to build it out to the current standards.
I am willing to spend money to do that, to make accessible. But I am shut off from the city. You cannot do anything in there. It's wetland, it's not accessible, it's not buildable. And on top of this, get a sewer bill that, for what? Sewer for what? And even bringing the freaking sewer 20 feet out, we are not talking about green. That instead of bringing the sewer always to the Granite Street, where everything will be going by gravity, you want to put 20 feet up. I'm an engineer, and I see that this is not the way to
No, I know, but
build for the
I've
future
seen-
of the city.
I've seen folks that have used pumping systems to access sewers, and they have been able to develop it, and they put roads in, and, you know, but I don't know the specific lot, but if it's under the Wetlands Protection Act, I don't know if you'd have any relief there, but there's no relief that we can grant you with this process. So the motion was to deny on B and C, and on D, Jefferson Moran request abatement, again on Southwest Cutoff, 493 Southwest Cutoff. Moran, what's your recommendation on this?
Mr. Chairman, we're on D, is that correct?
Yes.
Our recommendation is to deny on D and E.
Okay, and elaborate, please, why?
Both lots have frontage on Route 20.
Okay. And, on F, Moncada request abatement for sewer assessment of $18,750. That's a partial request or recommendation.
I'm sorry, which number are we?
5F.
5F. So 5F is a street abatement along with 5G. So this is a corner lot rule. So on one of the streets, we're going to recommend a partial abatement, and one of the streets, we're going to recommend to deny. So 5F is the one that we're going to recommend a partial abatement. The original assessment amount was $18,750. We're recommending a partial abatement amount of $13,500, leaving a new payment of $5,250. And again, that's for 5F.
Yep.
Recommend a
And
partial
5G is recommending deny because of the same item.
That's correct.
Because you're
5G is a
taking the
recommend.
same amount, the 13.5, and
That's
putting
correct.
it over there. Okay. On 5H, Facet requests the abatement of sewer assessment on Midgley,
Recommendation, Mr. Chairman, is to deny.
and why?
I'm sorry, wait a minute, H?
Yep, 5H, Lynn Facet request. I presume this is Lynn Facet and a microphone.
Hold on, so, just want to make sure.
I presume it's a half duplex
Nope, it's,
on Midgley?
nope, it's a home.
Oh, full,
Yeah,
okay.
I think I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, I think I misspoke.
5H,
Right,
Lynn Facet requests the abatement, sewer assessment, the amount of
Is it-
3535.
Would you like
10 Midgley?
the betterment?
I don't
number?
have a street address, I just have Midgley Ave. I'm thinking Midgley Lane, it's my,
Across the city from me.
yeah.
I believe it's a recommendation to deny, that's what I have.
Right, but why?
Because they're fronting on where the sewer was put in, Midgley and Esper.
Okay, but did they have any access to sewer on another street?
No, they don't.
Okay. Would you identify yourself for the record, please? You could pull the microphone down to you. Thank you.
My name is Lynn Facet, and my address is 10 Midgley Ave, Worcester, Mass. When I built my house, I researched and hired Graves Engineering to design a septic system. I also researched and hired Harris Brothers to maintain the property, and also my septic system. I have a corner lot, and my home is about 200 feet from the sewer. I would need to dig up 200 feet of my paved driveway to connect to it. It's not financially feasible for me to do this. I cannot do it.
Okay, but in the future, if you were, or another property owner down the road, if you sold it to someone or something like that, at least they would have that ability there to hook up to it if need be. And it would, I know you're saying it's a little far distance in your driveway and your yard, but I don't think we.
Extremely far distance,
Say it again?
200 feet, if not a little more.
I know. Commissioner, would you like to respond to that, or Assistant Commissioner?
I'm sorry, I was just making sure. The reason I was hesitating is because their neighbor at 6 were recommending something different, so I just wanted to make sure I had my
Why don't you
recommendation correct for this particular one. So
Go
I
ahead. Why don't
apologize,
you-
I missed the comments that they
Well,
made.
she was commenting about how far away it is for her to connect. She's like 200 feet away in her property. She'd have to go 200 feet to connect to it, and it's not feasible. And
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Am I repeating you? Well,
Thank you for repeating. I'm sorry, I apologize. But yes, their house, I believe, is far back away from the right-of-way of Midgley Ave, but the sewer was installed in Midgley Ave and actually down Esper Ave. So because they have property that regardless of where their house is located on their lot, they do have frontage on the street in which sewer was installed.
so it is there, and if them or someone else down the road wanted to
That's
get it, even though they have to go 200 feet in their own yard, they have the ability. Okay, thank you.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
So your recommendation is to deny on 5H?
That's
On
correct.
5I, Ruggieri, Janice and Mike Ruggieri request the abatement of 13,831 on Southwest Cutoff from Foxborough Street.
Mr. Chairman, our recommendation is to deny. Both lots front on Southwest Cutoff in which
Okay.
sewer was installed.
All right, and then, Michael, if you could identify yourself for the record, please?
Michael Ruggieri. First of all, if it was going to be $25 a foot and you're only making us pay $1 a foot, why didn't you go the whole way and not put us through this hardship of paying $23,000 for something we're not even going to use?
Yeah, because you got two of them. You got the next one, too, 5I and 5J.
Right.
And your recommendation on 5J is the same? to
That's
deny,
correct.
Right? And again, he's got frontage on Foxborough Street, but isn't that like a down low below the street, below
It's,
Route 20?
it runs parallel with 20.
Yeah, but doesn't it,
It's a horrible road, if that's what
right,
you're
but is
asking.
it usable? Is the sewer usable for you?
There is no sewer there. They're all private streets.
Right, but I'm saying is, if for you to access it on Route 20, the sewer,
Oh, could I access the Route 20 new sewer line?
if you needed to hook up to it?
Well, probably if I went through the ledge, I probably could.
Yeah. Okay.
But,
Again, but his lots, he's got 2 lots here, right, Commissioner?
Yes, that's correct.
So he's being-
One's a vacant lot, right?
He's being charged quite a bit because he's got lots that go back on Foxborough Street. But yet they're not, he's being asked to basically pay for the Route 20 sewer.
Mr. Chairman, he's getting charged for the approximate 139 feet, plus or minus, feet of frontage, times a line that's set back 100 feet from the right-of-way line of Southwest Cutoff. So that area that's subject to his assessment is 13,831 square feet, times the dollar per square
Is it
foot.
developable, though? I know you don't determine if
Again.
if it's buildable, but is it realistic for him to utilize that and to be able to, because it's certainly a lot more than he would if it was, one house.
I'm
You're
not-
asking-
I'm sorry, it's
asking
just
him for
not my
20
place to determine whether, his lot
Yeah.
is buildable, and it doesn't come into the equation here as to whether he gets assessed for the sewer that was installed on Southwest Cutoff or not.
Anyone else like to
Unfortunately.
make any comments on this? This
I
is
have
very-
another
very-
question.
Yeah.
When you were talking to the
ahead, Mike.
last woman. So if she was 1,000 feet away, she would still be assessed that?
Yeah, if she's in further on her lot, yes.
So
in her
it's
lot.
it's
when it
ridiculous. No
goes
one
by-
will connect 1,000 feet away.
It's when it goes by by your frontage
Right.
and your,
Right.
front of your house.
See, there's no, you're going by the letter of the law here, and
Yep.
no one's being reasonable about this, I'm never gonna hook up there because I have a septic system. If I hook up, I'll pay that money, And my
Yeah,
argument
and
is.
let me tell you, it goes even worse than that, because if you go to hook up, the commissioner and his staff are gonna say they
Oh, I
want
know,
a
there's
connection fee.
perments and
They
there's-
want a connection fee.
Yeah, or a connection
I don't wanna
fee,
throw
right.
them under the bus
Right. Well, it never
completely and run
ends.
you over, but it's gonna be even worse than that, and I understand it, and I agree with you.
Well,
But
my
it's-
argument is this. I do not abut Route 20.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? When they widened Route 20, the state said that there's a buffer zone between the street and my property that they own and they maintain, and they do maintain it, although they haven't recently, but they've maintained it since they put it in. They cut all the trees down, and so the state owns it.
Okay, well, that's an interesting
Concept.
concept that I haven't heard that one yet, and I think that's one worth taking a look at. Because if the state took a strip of his land along Route 20, and he doesn't formally have frontage on Route 20, he might be able to be granted finally. We finally might have one that we can do something with.
Mr. Chairman, his theory is correct, but that's not our opinion. We think he does have frontage on Route 20, so.
Is there a piece of land owned by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts that if he wanted to hook up to that sewer on Route 20, that he'd have to go to the Commonwealth and ask them for permission to pass through that land? Yes or no?
No,
There is not.
no.
Okay, so where's the difference in opinion here? So you're saying that
The difference of opinion, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, the difference of opinion is saying that he thinks there's a strip of land in between the right-of-way of Southwest Cutoff and his property, and DPW is saying that we don't feel he does.
So
But the
the piece of
DPW
land
is-
that he owned, the piece of land that was taken from him, you were paid for that land, weren't you, Mr. Ruggieri?
Yeah, 23 grand.
23 grand,
No, $400.
$400, but they took it from you. But they're always generous when they're taking from you, aren't they?
Right, exactly.
So $400, they took this piece of land from you,
A strip.
and it's a strip, it's all,
Because
does it
they
cover the whole?
they already own.
All right, but does it cover your whole frontage along
Yes,
the?
it does.
Okay.
Yeah, because
So-
it runs along the highway.
So what you're saying, Mr. Adams, is that that piece of land becomes part of the road, is what you're saying?
No, I'm not privy to this piece of property that he's speaking of. And
Okay.
when I talked to Mr. Ruggieri earlier today, I said it in his best interest to provide something to this committee or the
okay.
city to take that into consideration, because if what he's saying is true, and I have no reason not to believe him, but if he is true, he is correct. I mean, I don't believe we would assess that.
I'm gonna hold 5I and 5J, and I'm gonna
Okay.
request I want to put out a chairman's order to the assessor's office to give us a plot plan that shows the property, the ownership along these properties, to see who owns who owns these, because if he doesn't own frontage on the street,
Then he doesn't.
he shouldn't have to pay a sewer assessment.
Correct.
So let's do a chairman's order. Mr. Clerk, you got that?
Mr. Chairman, yes, I do.
On 5I and 5J, to determine that whether that land that was sold by Mr. Ruggieri to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts is in fact the abutter to Route 20, or if Mr. Ruggieri is in fact the abutter. So we'll hold those items.
Okay, I have other things to say, but I'll quit while I'm ahead.
You bet. Thank you. 5K, Raymond Spring, request the abatement of sewer assessment on Pelican Ave. What's your, this gentleman, this person called in earlier? What's your recommendation on that, Assistant Commissioner?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend, this is another corner lot, K and L. So we are
So
recommending.
K and L taken collectively. So K, you're recommending to deny?
That's correct.
And L, what's your recommendation on that?
The recommendation, Mr. Chairman, is for a partial abatement.
For how
So-
much?
So L, the original assessment amount is $15,007.50. We're recommending a partial abatement amount of $15,000, leaving a new payment amount of $7.50.
Okay. And he called in, so we've already heard from that person. On 5M, Clark on Midgley Ave, Richard and Nancy Clark requesting 13,823. Your recommendation on this?
Mr. Chairman, our recommendation is for a full abatement. This is the one I was talking about at the beginning of the meeting where the city inadvertently assessed him because we didn't know at the time that they were previously already connected to the sewer.
Okay. Oh, because he's already connected.
Yes,
Okay, so that's the difference between him and his neighbors.
that's correct.
Okay. Sir, would you like to be heard?
No,
Better
that
quit while
sounded
we're
pretty good to
ahead,
me.
Quit while you're ahead. Been a tough day here, believe me.
Thank you very much.
So that's on 15M. That was a recommendation to approve because he's already connected. 5N, Wiki Win, request abatement again on Route 20 on Southwest Cutoff for 10,181. Whereabouts on Route Southwest Cutoff is this?
Mr. Chairman, this is 59 Marcius Road,
Okay.
and our
And-
recommendation is to deny, Mr. Chairman. They do
Again,
have,
do they have frontage on Route 20?
they have frontage on Route 20.
Okay. And all of these properties on Route 20 all have frontage on Route 20 other than Mr. Ruggieri's that we're going to look into? Right? But they've all been checked for,
Well, I'd rather not say that because I'm of the opinion that they do have frontage on.
well, I'm sure you were
Southwest
you were
Cutoff.
of you were of that opinion, and we'll find out from the assessor.
Yes, that's correct.
That's the way to
So I don't
find
want to
out.
say, yes, they all have frontage.
No,
you know.
but your understanding is that they actually have frontage.
That's correct.
Okay, so because if you didn't feel as though you thought that I'd have the assessor look into each one of them along Route 20.
So, Mr.
Councilor Merrill Carlson.
Mr. Chairman, that's what I was just going to ask is, how do we know that any of these others with the Southwest Cutoff, if they're not in the same situation as Mr. Ruggieri? Is there a difference?
Mr. Ruggieri is, through the chair, sorry, he's claiming that there's a piece of property between the state layout and his property owned by the state. That's not the research that I've done, and that's not what we believe. Again, someone.
I guess what I'm asking is, are these others, do we have the potential for the same thing that Mr. Ruggieri is saying? Because I don't want us to be not looking into these others if they're along that same stretch, and are they in the same situation?
Well, if your recommendation or your motion, Councilor Merrill Carlson, would be to hold any of the Route 20 ones and have the assessor look at each one of them and make sure that they all have frontage on Route 20, that's fine.
Certainly do.
I think given the circumstances and, you know, good for Mr. Ruggieri coming forward with that information. I just don't want to see somebody else being denied and having
Right.
to pay this kind of money if they in fact do not have the
So,
frontage.
and again,
that would be my motion.
and again, just as a general discussion, this is the reason why I came up with this item for the council agenda for the next week, or this coming meeting, was because why do we go through this each time? If there are rules that people can get discounted rates because why are we billing them for the full amounts if we have to? So I agree with you, and I understand. And so I'll do a chairman's order for all to hold, we're gonna hold, Mr. Clerk, I hope you're following us, up there behind me here.
Mr. Chairman, I certainly am.
If you were going to hold, Councilor Merrill Carlson's motion would be to hold all the southwest cutoff items and ask the assessor to determine if in fact they all have frontage on Route 20, or if in fact the Commonwealth of Massachusetts owns a strip of land, and be very specific when you send that chairman's order to the assessor, asking that he determines that if folks wanted to hook up to the sewer, would they have to get permission from the state to come through their strip of land? That's all we're trying to figure out. And I think what Councilor Carlson says is admirable, and I think it's worth looking at. And if someone can't hook up to the sewer on Route 20 because they have to get permission from the state to go through a strip of land, then in my opinion, they don't have frontage.
That's right.
So let's hold all the southwest cutoff items for that and wait to get that item back from the assessor's office and even from the law department to ask them to take a look at it also into the determination. So other than those ones that we're holding, otherwise we'll move the DPW recommendations on all of those items that we did in 5.
Councilor Merrill Carlson,
Yes.
Councilor Wally,
Yes.
and Chairperson Councilor Russell.
Yes. Number 6, 6A, guardrail petition that I put in on behalf of Glenda Rodriguez requests, this is the gravity sewer that I put in. Councilor Russell requests on behalf of Glenda Rodriguez, requests a gravity sewer in the vicinity of 2 Hyannis Place be extended westerly from the terminus in front of 13 Hyannis Place as seen in the attached plan. Are there folks here on this item? I know I've heard from them a lot on the phone. What's your recommendation on this?
Mr. Chairman, our recommendation is to approve.
Okay. Any discussion? Motion to approve. Roll call.
Councilor Merrill Carlson,
Yes.
Councilor Wally,
Yes.
and Chairperson Councilor Russell.
Okay. And then the next one, number 7, which is the guardrail petition that I put in on behalf of Mendoza for 2 Crowning Shield Road, for the corner of Crowning Shield Road to 2 Crowning Shield Road. They also called in. They sent some pictures. Any discussion on this? Motion to approve.
Councilor Merrill Carlson,
Yes.
Councilor Wally,
Yes.
and Chairperson Councilor Russell.
Yes. Okay. And then now these street repair petitions, we're going to do, there's only a couple of them, so it's not that bad. Councilor Rose requests sidewalks on Rexham between Beverly Road and Bay State be replaced. We're going to give that a leave to withdraw. Why is that
Mr. Chairman.
already being done?
The description was incorrectly on the petition. So we're going to leave to withdraw this particular one, and the counselor is going to refile
Okay.
what exactly he wants.
All right, so 8B, Glamazina requests sidewalk in front of 9 Alamo Street be replaced. This is approved, and we'll put this on. This is one commissioner went out and looked at on Alamo Street. I think we had the discussion about you know, whether the whole street needed to be done or just a little piece in front of their house, and the commissioner was nice enough to take a look at it, and hopefully it'll be corrected soon. So we're gonna approve that and put it on the list. Peter, on 8C, Peter Meghat, and others request sidewalk rappel on Upsala Street. Commissioner also took care of this, so we're gonna, it's already on the list, and he's taking care of the trip hazards over there, he tells me. And from what I hear, the folks are very happy with that. Same thing with 9A, the same gentleman requests resurfacing on Upsala Street. It's on the list already, so we don't need to do it again. So we're gonna have a leave to withdraw there. The Commissioner has also taken a look at that and dealt with some of the immediate problems right around near the elderly housing complex on Upsala Street. On 9B, John Ham requests Proudy Lane from Pleasant Street to Airport Drive be resurfaced. That person called in also. The recommendation from DPW is to approve that and get that on the list to be funded. He also, the same person, called in, it's the same thing as 9B, put it in twice, so we're giving him leave to withdraw on 9C. So we'll move those as recommended. Roll call.
Counselor Merrill Carlson,
Yes.
Counselor Wally,
Yes.
and Chairperson Counselor Russell.
Yes. Ms. Hall, did you want to be
I
heard
have-
again?
Yeah, I don't feel like I
I'm
was
sorry.
really heard.
Okay.
And just because
What was
you
your item
say,
number, what was your item number again? Just so we can,
25579.
no, what was the item on our agenda? What number? Ms. Hall?
I don't know. It
Let me see
didn't
if I
say.
can find it again.
Mr. Chairman, it was 4J, I believe.
Oh, 4J. So I'll entertain motion to reconsider on that. We'll just allow Ms. Hall to be heard.
I don't agree that it increased my property value. I was third house up on the right. It turned our neighborhood into a race zone, speeding all the time. It's crazy. Buses zipping up and down, people speeding, way more traffic. It didn't increase my property values. It took 3 feet off the front of my property, so it decreased my property. You didn't pay me for that. I don't understand how I benefited from this just because you say I benefited from it. I didn't.
Okay. Commissioner or Assistant Commissioner, would you like to talk about the taking of 3 feet off the front of her property? Was it her property or was it in the public way?
Mr. Chairman, I'm not privy to it right now. I don't know.
That doesn't sound right. They wouldn't take something without paying someone for it, right? If it might have been part of the street, that might have been, had grass on it or a portion of blacktop or something on it.
We normally don't take, do takings on.
That's what I mean, for private street conversions, yeah. So maybe, was it surveyed at all, Karen?
I don't know if they surveyed it.
No, I mean, did you survey it, like when you bought it, did you survey it? Did you know where the beginning of the street is? I know when years ago, I had a house on Lake Ave, and some of my neighbors on the other side of the street, when they straightened the street out, they pushed their land in,
Right, that's
and
what
I
I'm
had more grass that was owned by the city of Worcester, but it was, I always looked at it as my grass, but it was really owned by the city because the way they did it, where the property line was.
I don't think so. I
Okay.
mean, it was that's the way we bought it, that's the way it was. The house all the way up the street, so.
I wish I had a better answer for you, and I don't. But I don't.
I really think you guys should find a better way of doing things. None of this makes sense. Everybody's denied just about.
Well, that's not true. The commissioner, again, they gave us their recommendations on specific rules that we have that we could hang our hat on, so to speak, to grant approval for any of these. And anything that we went outside that, I mean, everyone else that pays pays for it, or for that matter, even people that had public streets that were made public when they were first constructed, it wouldn't be fair to them to not charge accordingly. So I apologize for.
How do I look into the other houses, if they
Again,
paid or
please?
not? How do I look into, everything here is very confusing, nothing is straightforward. So I'm wondering how I look into the houses on Tornita that I was talking about, that Tony Economo put in and benefited from. How do I know that those houses paid?
All right, well, As far as any private developer, no matter who it is, whether it was somebody that was an elected official years ago, like Mr. Economo that you're referring to, or whether it be anyone, it's public information. As far as I know, you can go down to the code department and ask to see the building permit. In fact, if you go on the City of Worcester website on worcesterma.gov and look at the street, on that, under each property, there's a link for, it shows you building permits that we're taking out on the property, all kinds of information.
And it'll show
probably.
you street betterment and what people paid?
I don't know, it might show you on another page on the assessors on the assessors information, or on the amount that was paid, like for taxes or that kind of thing. Or you could call the city treasurer's office and ask for Mr. Tim McGurthy, the chief financial officer, and he'll be happy to tell you what was paid on each property if it's not something that's easily accessible. But a lot of that stuff is right on the city website now. You can look to see if taxes have been paid on a property and what the assessments are, and if people paid their water bill or they didn't pay their water bill, and you'd be surprised some of the information that's on it. Probably too much information that's on there. There's, it's a pull-down screen with when
Okay.
you link to each property, so.
It just seems like it could be a little bit more transparent, and then
Yeah.
it wouldn't be so confusing, and maybe we wouldn't have so many
Yeah.
people here complaining.
I appreciate your input. Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, I just, on one clarification, sorry to interrupt it, but
Sure.
just on 5A, did you mean to hold 5A, or was it hold until you were
Let
going
me
to go
see.
back to it?
Let me see. Oh, yes, excuse me. Thank you very much, Mr. Clerk.
Thank you.
That was the one that Mr. Burns was on. Is he still on the line?
I will take a look right now.
5A?
Yes, he is.
All right,
he is on
because
the
we
line.
had a discussion on this last time, and it was very long-winded on Mr. Burns, or back in February of 2021, I think, or even before that. This is the report of Public Works. This is 5A?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, report of the Committee of Public Works upon, Susan Burns, Mary Landry, request abatement, sewer betterment assessment, in the amount of $36,000 on Luther Ave. Recommend the petition be denied. That was the DPW's recommendation back then. It's your recommendation again tonight, I believe, correct?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
And could you elaborate why at length?
Because the sewer was installed down Luther Ave, and their lot fronts on that roadway where the sewer was installed.
Is this another situation with a lot that slopes down or may not be usable?
I believe if, Mr. Chairman, if you hear from Mr. Burns, he talks about it's being wet in some fashion.
Right, or wetlands, that type of thing. Mr. Burns, you still on the phone? Or still-
Yes.
Would you
I'd like
to
to
be heard,
address
sir?
all three. Can you hear me?
Yes, why don't you just try and
I'd like
talk
to address-
loud and slow so we'll catch you.
I'd like to address all three issues that we have with debate tonight. Now, you picked up the first one about the land, the wetland, the private land. All right. Going back 19 years ago, when we fought for the sewers abatement, if you kept your records, I have it on my records and wrote it down, for Knapp Ave, Tornita, and Luther Ave. Now, we were told from the people that we were dealing with at the time, you didn't have to worry about Luther Ave. They weren't going to put it on the list because it would never become public. Because my argument at the time was that the property, they did Phoebe Way because they were building the dorms at Assumption College. So they put the sewer, ended it at the top of Tornita in the corner of Phoebe Way, I believe, or where did Luda's live? Pelican. They brought the sewer down there. You have to excuse me, I got my daughter here with me. They brought the sewer down there in the, with the aspect for Assumption College. So at that time, we brought up Luther Ave and that Ave. They said, no, not on Luther Ave. We're not going to bring it up because it'll never happen. It's a private street. All right. Second thing is, which I wrote to the city council with the wetlands and the exemption of the wetlands approved a presumed significant, so there's no need to contact evaluations or rakings. The Wetlands Protection Act exempts those activities undertaken, and they name all the utilities, et cetera, et cetera. All right, so now when you're talking about, I understood what Mr. Adams talked about. We're on a corner lot on Tornita and Luther Ave. Now, that property is not the length they said it is, and Luther Ave is still a private street. So to charge us $15,000 for not there, plus it being wetlands. The wetlands were issued by the city themselves. They're the ones that said they were wetlands, not us. I got all the paperwork, as you know, Mr. Russell. I got everything. My lawyer got everything. So my thing is, you're gonna charge us for something that should have been done 19 years ago and was never gonna approve on Luther Ave except for the extension of some of the streets in Assumption College and what's going down there. Now, I got the street, I got the blueprints, I believe I got them from Russ, for Luther Ave, Nap Ave, et cetera, and what went on there. As far as what they built, the holding boxes, all that on Luther Ave, they raised Luther Ave 18 inches past our land, so all the water gathers there. They built a extension for supposed to be a drain pond, which engineers from the city themselves and the contractors doing the work stated that this water from the pond across the street should be going right into the regular sewer system, the drainage system. There's no reason to have it on our property. So then my argument again is because of all the wood trees, the land trees, they call them, the ashes, et cetera. We have so many trees that are dying. We're paranoid because they don't let us touch anything, but they're gonna be falling down. If they fall on somebody, who's responsible? The city? We had one fall in my yard, almost hit the house. We had one fall in the house next door, the Landry's house. Went through their swimming pool, knocked down their deck, for the simple reason that we can't deal with the problem on hand because of what the city tells us. If they want to charge us this astronomical fee that I believe is ridiculous because it's wetlands. There's no chance of doing anything with it, but you want to charge us $35,000. And that, I believe, is not fair at all, especially when you come to the second statement with the $15,000 for the corner lot.
Mr. Burns, you mentioned in your comments a moment ago that you were represented by counsel, by an attorney.
Yep.
And.
Yeah, when I need them.
Do you want to hold this item, an opportunity for your attorney to join us?
No, because the thing is not joining us. I'm not paying for somebody to join us. What I'm trying to see
I
is the
just
right
wanted
here.
to make sure that your intent wasn't to.
No, I have to
your
report
attorney.
back to
Okay.
what went on. No, because I do not, I'm trying to close this up. We've been doing this for 5 years. How many
Oh, I know.
meetings have I been to? 20,
Well,
30,
and-
40, I don't know how many
And that's
meetings.
the thing, and this board doesn't have any more regulations that we could hang our hat on to grant an abatement, other than, the same thing, the same conversation we've had before. So
No,
Commissioner.
but he stated
Mr.
about
Burns,
the,
why don't you hold on just a minute? Why don't we ask the Assistant Commissioner Russ Adams to elaborate on this item? You had some items in front of you. Is there anything?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, the item in front of us is the sewer abatement request for 9 Luther Ave, which we're recommending to deny, because like I said, the sewer was installed on Luther Ave by the entire property, so that's where they're being assessed.
And it doesn't matter if it's a wetland or not.
That's correct. Right now,
There's
it
nothing
doesn't-
we can do to
to my
grant them any.
knowledge, to my knowledge, no.
Can I ask a question? My name is
If
Susan
you
Burns.
identify yourself, you're welcome.
Susan Burns, 10 Nap Ave.
Okay, Susan.
I have a question. Okay, so supposedly the city put in this large pipe underneath the road years ago, supposedly. Now, we absorb Barry Road Extension's water that comes over to Tornita, that comes over to us. But yet you're telling us when we are absorbing all this water, and in fact, this land is wetland, per the Conservation
This
Commission,
board has no,
that-
this board has no authority to designate anything as a wetland or not a wetland.
no, but what I'm saying,
just having a conversation, is what he said that it was a wetland, so
okay.
that's. I'll take
Well,
this off.
Conservation Commission said it's labeled a wetland, and we have a map.
Yeah, and I'm not doubting that that's in fact, but
Right.
I just want to make it clear, this committee and the city council has no authority to grant a wetland or to say something's a
Right,
wetland or something isn't a wetland.
I guess I want to ask, how can the city have all this? I want to address this to Russ.
Let me finish. The wetlands are designated by engineers, my understanding, and Commissioner, you correct me if I'm wrong, by an engineer looking at it and see what's growing there
Yep.
and what's sitting there, right? And that's why it's designated. But go ahead.
I understand that. I want to address this to Russ. How can the city have all this water coming over to us that has created the wetland and then say, oh, by the way, you owe X amount for sewerage? When
Now,
you can't
if
use,
it wasn't, if the land was not wet, and you're saying that the city made a mistake.
Right.
At some point, then I would encourage you to talk to your attorney.
right.
Because then if there was a mistake in engineering, or if they somehow wronged your property.
Well, we've been
then-
coming to
then
meetings for.
You might have a claim.
Exactly. We've been coming to meetings since
That's
we lived
between you
there.
and the attorney and the courts
Yep.
and the city. I didn't, I'm not saying that you do or you don't, but I did just advise you to talk to your attorney.
Okay, yep.
Mr. Russell,
Yes, sir.
before my wife interrupted me.
That's, even when you're
At
on the phone,
nine-
even when you're on the phone, huh? She interrupted you.
What I'm trying to say is, what Mr. Adams stated, it's 3 lots there, not number 9. The state, the tax department, the city conservation, they had these lots listed 4 different ways. None of them had it the same way. I went down to see, wait a minute, I got his name here, you gotta bear with me. Benjamin Strait at the assessor's office, the same thing. It was brought up. He said, this is all wrong. It's all wrong from the city of Worcester. They don't have, if they're coming at us from all different angles. I understand what Russ is saying. I understand what he's stating. But what is going on here in the cooling to the state with the wetlands and the percentage of land we have, which is next to nothing, that they, cities should take into consideration what they're trying to charge us for something that'll never be used.
Yep.
And that's not done by us, that's done by the city.
And, Mr. Burns, I want you to know, at least I can only speak for myself, but as one member of the city council, if I had a way of granting you some kind of an abatement or waiving the fee because it is, if you showed that it was a wetland, it would make sense to me. But when I'm told by the city law department that it's illegal for me to grant that abatement
Oh, I
and that waiver.
understand it.
I'm personally not in a position where I can grant that, nor do I believe my colleagues are or the whole city council when it goes before the council. So my recommendation is that at some point, we have to, make a decision on this, and I think at one point you had said that you didn't have an opportunity to be heard properly, and I think we brought it back for that reason, and then there was a discussion at the council level with your district councilor talking with some folks about items, and I think the item came back and forth. So I think we're at a point now where we can only move the DPW's recommendation, which is to deny, and then if you think that, it's something you want to go make an appeal to the whole council when it comes before the whole council, that's fine. And if it's something you think you want to bring a legal action on, then that's between you and your attorney to make that decision, what's in your best interest.
Mr.
But
Councilman.
I wish I had some better way, because it doesn't make sense to be charging people for sewers in front of a lot if it is in fact, and I'm not sure it is, but if it is in fact unbuildable because of Wetland Protection Act that the federal government is designated as such. There's someone
Hi.
at the microphone, could you
Yeah,
identify
My name is
yourself,
Mary
please?
Landry, 6
Hi,
Knapp
Mary.
Ave. Hi, how are you?
You've been here all night, we haven't heard from you yet.
I know, I'm quiet as a little
We
mouse in
saved
the
the best to
corner.
last then, go ahead. Go ahead.
I just want to say, I live at 6 Knapp Ave, and I think December 6 last year, I had one of those wetland trees come across my yard, crashed, totaled my pool, totaled my deck. It cost $20,000 to fix the damage. So just to, I know this, you're not the Conservation Commission, but I spoke to Michelle from there because I have another tree that fell and it's hanging over my yard, and she's telling me I can't cut it down, and I asked her, well, then can you give me a letter saying,
Who told you couldn't cut it down?
Michelle from the Conservation Commission, I don't know her
She
last
told you
name.
you couldn't cut down a tree that fell and it's across your property line?
Exactly, and she came to my yard, and I heard someone said that she was taking
Okay,
pictures.
that's news
It's,
to me.
if so, I was looking at it today, it
Again,
keeps
we're
moving.
not the Conservation Commission, nor do we control that office, but that
I've already got
sounds
a,
like private property rights to me.
no,
If
I
you
think
got a
it's
tree that
on, I
fell.
think it's on that land, on the
Yeah.
wetlands.
Oh, maybe going in and altering the wetlands, maybe that's what she's concerned about. But if you had a tree that fell on your property.
Well, you can
and
go
wanna
look at
cut it up
6
and
Nap
get rid
Ave
of it,
tomorrow if you want. The tree is
I'm
there.
not-
But what I'm saying is, I asked her, can you give me a letter saying that you won't let me cut down the tree?
Yeah.
Because I don't think I'm going to be insured when this next accident happens.
Good idea.
She said, no, can't do that.
Well, I would suggest that you call that office tomorrow, 508-799-1400, and ask for Mr. Peter Dunn.
Done?
Dunn, D-U-N-N.
Okay.
He's the director of the whole Office of Economic Development.
Like I said, I have somebody.
So all that planning office, everything is all under him. Call, tell him
Yeah.
that you came to the Public Works Committee, and Chairman Russell, with the microphone's on and the camera's rolling, suggested that you call him and that he could have a discussion with his
Okay,
staff.
'cause right now-
I'm sure there's something there that's not being explained to someone along
What
the
did you say
line
that
that
phone
somebody
number
will
was again?
clarify.
The phone number?
Peter Dunn, 508-799-1400, and he's the executive director of the.
All right, because like I said, it's right now, if some kid was walking by at the wrong time, the tree's going to come down.
Okay, but I'm
It's-
sure he'll explain to you, I'm sure it's probably something that for whatever reason, there's a reason for everything, but they'll explain it to you. But it has nothing to do with this item that's
Yeah,
before us.
well, the reason I brought it up is because what's happening with the land that is so wet, these trees are just falling. They're
Yep.
just falling
No, I
like,
know, but like I
dominoes.
said before, we don't designate wetlands. Engineers designate wetlands, so.
okay, I'll give him a
Okay,
call tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One quick question, I'll leave you alone.
Go ahead.
4M and N, when are they going to come back up to the
4?
calendar? M and N.
For M and N, Mr. Clerk, what do we do on those?
Mr. Chairman, both of those items were held, so they will return to the pending list and
Okay.
I guess be prepared when, maybe perhaps when the
And
chairman's
what did
order.
we ask for, what did we ask for on those, Mr. Clerk?
It was,
Yeah, well-
it looks like an outline, these are rough notes that I'll have to listen back later, but it was basically an
For-
outline on the
for N.
items, committee dates.
For N, we were gonna hold also?
4M,
was the one you were going
For
to take
N,
off, then you put back on?
for, just let me,
Okay.
first of all, we shouldn't be doing this because
Okay, all right,
sit, take a
understand.
seat,
Yeah.
take a seat, and I'll go back to you in a minute, okay? Because excuse me for not controlling the meeting properly. The item before us is Mr. Burns on item 5A, correct?
correct, Mr. Chairman.
What's your recommendation, Mr. Assistant Commissioner?
I'm sorry, what item?
5A, Mr. Burns, it's on the phone with us. What's your recommendation on this? Your recommendation on my notes was to deny?
That's correct.
Okay, and then I'll move the motion, the DPW recommendation.
Counselor Merrill Carlson,
Yes.
Counselor Wally,
Yes.
and Chairperson Counselor Russell.
Yes. Okay, so, and then now I'll reconsider and take up 4N, which was a recommendation to approve. Why don't we take, instead of holding that, let's approve it. It was the amount of 15,000, and I don't know why we said we would hold it before, but whatever it may be.
So that's approved to take it off the...
4N, the recommendation was to approve it, Mr. Assistant Commissioner?
That's the correct. The recommendation was to recommend a full abatement.
All right, so we're just going to move that one item. Roll call.
Counselor Merrill Carlson,
Yes.
Counselor Wally.
Yes.
And Chairperson Counselor Russell.
Yes. Motion to adjourn?
Counselor Merrill Carlson,
Yes.
Counselor Wally,
Yes.
and Chairperson Counselor Russell.
Yes.
Yes.